Good evening. Bonsoir. Buonasera. Namaste. Namaskar. And Namaskar. Greetings to all of you on this Indian Independence Day, precisely the 15th of August of the current Gregorian year 2024. In the year 1947, on this very day, August the 15th, India declared herself an independent country. Although I was not born on that day, but I heard much about it because inter alia, my late grandfather, having served in the Indian Army as a physician during the First World War, during the years 1914 till the year 1918, returned to India from Europe, precisely from England and France, where he had been stationed, and joined the Indian Congress, Freedom, or Independent Movement, also known as the Indian Congress Non-Violent Movement. Becoming involved in the Indian Congress Independence Movement, he had to sacrifice much as he was discharged from the Indian Army, which in those days were under the supervision of the government of Great Britain, or the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, later also known as the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. No doubt, both he and my family members, being in this country under the British rule, had to undergo much persecution and everything that accompanied such persecution, including defamation. And for a while, even they had to face various other types of challenges while being ruled by a foreign government. But both my late grandfather and all those who joined in that movement, headed by late Dr. Bidhan Chandra Roy, an outstanding doctor, a physician of extreme great skill, not merely of that day, but perhaps in medical history as a whole. My late grandfather, joining his movement, had to learn to live a life, a very modest one, befitting most of his fellow countrymen and women. He learned to sacrifice, perhaps befitting the color on the right hand part of the sash which I'm wearing today. This color is not orange but saffron. Saffron, and it should be on top or on the right side, and that is why I'm wearing in this manner, because I can't put it on top as a sash. This color, saffron, means self-sacrifice. The color in between is a white color, which symbolizes purity. Purity from all types of malice, even selfishness, greed, immorality, dishonesty, and everything that can be considered as impure upon reasonable human presumption. The color green, which is supposed to be at the base of the flag, Indian flag, is, unlike most Western countries, does not represent hope, but it represents valor, bravery. And the color in between blue is supposed to represent loyalty. In fact, on the Indian national flag, we have these four colors: saffron on top, white and blue in the middle, and the color green in the base. On the Indian flag, there is a blue wheel of a cart, which symbolizes a pillar built by late Emperor Ashoka of Pataliputra initially, later the Emperor of India, who extended his empire to various other parts of Asia, even to Persia. Emperor Ashoka had a striking history. As a young prince of Pataliputra, he was described by many renowned historians to be a very cruel and selfish prince, even a very brutal one, who did not hesitate to liquidate his own relatives in order to gain the throne. Ascending to the throne, becoming a king, King Ashoka declared a war known as the War of Kalinga, perhaps one of the most blood-shedding war in the Indian history. There were too many casualties, too much bloodshed, too much suffering upon the kin of the victims who fell in that battle. This incident shocked and shattered, I should say, the king emperor in those days later, or I should say King Ashoka in those days, later known as King Emperor Ashoka. He was so shocked that he pledged never to fight another battle by violence, but pledged to win the hearts of his subjects and others by extending all gestures and acts of love towards them. And he became the most outstanding emperor in the history of India, and one of the most outstanding ones in the history of the world as a whole. Remembering the fact that he ruled over India around sometime 200 years before the birth of Jesus Christ. This proves, of course, that it is possible to influence people and to rule or reign over territories without violence, without violent acts, even peacefully. Peace, something which is so precious and has become so rare in today's world of ours, caused by us who are too ambitious, too greedy, too egocentric, too selfish, too proud. Under the given circumstances, I believe that I am reasonably justified in raising the question, are we Indians truly independent today? Are we truly free from all types of impurity, immorality, corruption, self-indulgence, selfishness, egocentrism? Are we truly free? If not, then we are truly still bound. Perhaps not by a foreign imperial power, but by all types of vice which we can consider to exist upon this world, even on this earth, which we call the Mother Earth. Even last night, in this very city of Calcutta, from which I'm telecasting live now, groups of people demonstrated against the violence carried out against girls, ladies and women coming from various circles, even babies. Why do we forget the indisputable, undeniable fact that none of us, not single one of us, would be here today without women, even our mothers who bore us onto this earth and brought us into this earth, into this world. Violence continues in our world, in various parts of the world, in one form or another, perhaps throughout the world, especially against girls and ladies, or women, as one may prefer to call oneself, because I know that certain ladies prefer not to be addressed as ladies. What an irony. Returning to my foregoing allegation that Emperor Ashoka extended his empire even to Persia, I begin to raise the same question which I raised on earlier occasions. What is happening with the ladies of that particular country today, known as the Islamic Republic of Iran, where girls and ladies are being persecuted, even tortured to death, simply because a few streams of hair project out from their head covering. Do those people forget? Do we forget that even those men who persecute them would not be on earth without the ladies or women of the world? If we forget, we still are bound by the vice that prevail over us, perhaps befitting that wonderful writing of that great author known as Robert Louis Stevenson, who in his famous book known as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde demonstrated the fact that each of us, every single one of us, has a good side and a dark side. As my friends know me, and many others, I believe in God the Almighty. But at the same time, I do believe that God the Almighty has not created us to be metallic instruments or machinery. According to the Torah, the sacred Torah, or the Holy Bible, we human beings were created in His own image. And thus He gave us the freedom to choose the right or the wrong, the good or the evil, the truth or the lie. On this Independence Day of India, while sitting in my little chamber, I raised a question upon my own mind: which one I should allow to prevail over me? Dr. Jekyll, the good one, or Mr. Hyde, the vicious one? Yes, we need to fight against injustice, against terrorism, against wrongs of different kinds and types, which are prevailing today over humanity. But if we forget that it is true humanity which makes us worthy of our human births, if we forget that we have no claim upon the expression or the title that we are human beings unless we also exercise humanity in its proper sense, we deny our own selves, deny the facts, even the existing truths, and fall into the very trap of self-indulgence, even the facts based upon lies as a whole. We need to wake up and face this world of ours today and follow the course of humanity and walk upon the very course of humanity in order to enhance our world and enhance ourselves and our future generations, in order to exercise humanity or to carry out human tasks or tasks based upon humanity. We need not be genius. We need not be outstanding or extraordinary. Each of us can do something. It is an act of humanity if we, while we travel by public transport, surrender our seats to the individuals who are in greater need of those seats. It is an act of humanity if, while walking on the streets or on the pavement, we see a person carrying a heavy bag especially if that person is feeble, like an elderly person or a lady who is expecting a child within a few months' time, and help him or her to carry the bag a few steps. It is an act of humanity if somebody suddenly stands still on the street to ask that person if that person were in need of help, whether that person is confronted with some kinds of physical disorder like cardiac problems or maybe nausea or something that is unpleasant. It is an act of humanity to speak a few friendly words to a person who is depressed or saddened by an incident, whether this be the loss of a dear one or even failing in an examination, or being defamed and ill-treated by another person. We can contribute a lot towards our world, our future world, even the present one, if we act humanely by carrying out little tasks which we are able to carry out and thus fulfill the very duties to which we are called as human beings. This is my humble plea, even my most humble plea, as I beg each and every one of you individually and all of you collectively, both my fellow citizens of this country and my fellow global citizens, to come forward and to act humanely, proving ourselves that we are worthy of our human births. Once again, I bid you a very solemn moment, whether this be a night or an evening or the day or even the early morning of the following day at your place. Thank you once again, and I wish all of you the protection of the same Almighty who created all of us, all the victims of the world, even the victims of violence, injustice, oppression, and inhumanity.